afternoon and welcome to today's event. My name is Sriraj Patel, Chair of the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce and Vice President of Commercial Financial Services at RBC. On behalf of the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce, I acknowledge we're gathered today on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional land of the Ojibwe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene Nations, and the homeland of the Red River Métis. Reconciliation with our Indigenous communities is an important and ongoing journey. The Chamber is committed to truth and reconciliation, and we invite everyone to join us on this journey. August 3rd, 2021 marks 150 years since the signing of Treaty 1 between the First Nations and the Crown. We look forward to the celebrations this summer and encourage you to take part. To learn more, please check out the Chamber's Truth and Reconciliation Roadmap on our website at winnipeg-chamber.com/TRR. Here we are again, gathering together virtually from the comfort of our home office. It's been about a year since many of us transitioned to working from home, and while it does have some perks, there have been some drawbacks. We had a membership forum back in December where we asked our members, what were your biggest challenges? A common theme we heard from you was the difficulty of maintaining a healthy and connected workplace culture while being physically apart. As business owners, leaders, and professionals, you were worried about your people. Look, there is no one-size-fits-all playbook for workplace culture, and there sure isn't one for workplace culture during a pandemic. But we do have access to experts in human resources and culture who lead some of Canada's biggest brands who are willing to share what they know. And that is why we are here today. Today, we have the honor and privilege to speak to MacKillop, Chief of Staff and Executive Vice President of People and Culture with Canada Goose. Canada Goose, founded in 1957, is a well-known international luxury brand, best known for their weather-resistant winter jackets, which can come in handy in Winnipeg's extreme winters. Winnipeg is home to 3 Canada Goose garment factories employing hundreds of Winnipeggers. Kara is here today to speak to Canada Goose's approach to navigating new obstacles without a playbook. Just recently, Kara was named one of the Globe and Mail's Executives of the Year. But before I introduce Kara, I want to share how today is going to work. Today's virtual luncheon programming is set up to reflect your usual in-person luncheon experience. This is your opportunity to connect with your community and your chamber members. If you have any technical issues today, please contact any of our chamber staff by chat on the right-hand side. They are listed as WCC Help under the attendee list. I would like to thank our title sponsors, EY and Staff Max Staffing and Recruiting. We appreciate your support. Also, thank you to our chamber champions and chamber leaders who have stepped up and helped the chamber in providing events and supports to our members. Thank you for everything you do. We encourage you to get on social media to join in on the conversation using the hashtag WCCBiz. Okay, let us get started. I'm extremely excited to be introducing to you our keynote speaker today. MacKillop, Chief of Staff and EVP People and Culture at Canada Goose, is an inspirational leader with passion for employee engagement, developing a great team, and fostering the unique culture that defines Canada Goose. Kara joined Canada Goose in 2014 as the Vice President of Human Resources. In her current role, she oversees talent, employee experience, training and global policy, as well as corporate citizenship and strategic projects for the Office of the CEO. Prior to joining Canada Goose, Kara served as the Director of Human Resources for Red Bull Canada and Indigo Books and Music. She received an Honours Bachelor of Science from the University of Western Ontario and serves on community not-for-profit boards. Before we jump into our fireside chat with Kara, we wanted to recognize that you may have additional questions for Canada Goose that we won't have a chance to cover today. We invite you to visit our website to read our blog where we discuss some of the new initiatives and practices Canada Goose has and is implementing. Visit winnipeg-chamber.com to read more. The link will also be in the chat. It is my pleasure to introduce you to MacKillop, Chief of Staff and Executive Vice President, People and Culture with Canada Goose. First off, with everything going on in the world, how are you doing, Kara?
Thank you very much. Before we jump in, I do want to thank the Chamber for this opportunity to chat, albeit virtually, with your members. I really wish I could be there in person. I know we all do. And I really do look forward to the next time that we can all be together. But happy that during these unprecedented times, the Chamber is still continuing to bring people together to engage in meaningful dialogue. So to answer your question, all things considered, I'm doing really well. The last year has been so difficult for all of us, but I really do consider myself very, very lucky. I've been able to continue to work from home, and because my role at Canada Goose has offered the opportunity for me to create positive impact every day, even when our lives have been kind of turned upside down.
That's excellent, phenomenal. Well, we'll lead into our second question. What led you to a career focus on people and human resources? And can you walk us through your career journey?
Absolutely. So my career actually began in corporate recruiting. And from there, I was able to transition to a generalist role. So prior to Canada Goose, as you mentioned, I held director roles in HR with Indigo Books and Music, and then after that with Red Bull Canada. And so it was while I was at Indigo that I was fortunate enough to work with a leader who was incredibly passionate about her team. And through her, was able to expand my experience across multiple areas of the business, which just kept unlocking more and more potential and more opportunities for me. So I've been really, really lucky that I have found a couple of organizations that really do place a priority on the HR function and on that empathetic leadership that helps us enable change. I've really always been driven by empathy and those authentic connections. And I really believe in sticking to core values and letting those guide my decisions. I get excited about getting to figure out how to make real impactful improvements that help everybody succeed.
Wow, I really love that empathetic leadership. Yeah. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and on that, we really do lean into to these core values of ours. And we have 5, and they've always, they really ring true for me and have always resonated. And that's, relentlessness, innovation, passion, entrepreneurship, and authenticity. And so I count myself, really fortunate that my career journey has brought me here today.
Amazing. Authentic leadership is so important today, especially in this backdrop of all this disruption around us. So thank you so much for that, Kara. As Executive Vice President, Chief of Staff at Canada Goose, what does that mean, and what does your day look like?
Yeah, I joined back in 2014 as a vice president, and I can honestly say in the almost 7 years, no day has looked the same. I spend my days listening to my teams, understanding what roadblocks they might have in their worlds, and then helping to work with them to unlock them. I also then work with our executive team, and I liaise with our board of directors. Fortunately for us, HR has always been central to our strategy, and we've always received a lot of support from the business. And so, I've always been seen as an integral part to our success, as the whole HR function has. And that's really given me incredible opportunities over the years. And while, no day looks the same, these authentic connections that we do make and that we work hard at enable us to better manage any change, really, and deal with any operational issues that come up, whether it's, retooling, managing logistics in our facilities, or more recently, addressing the emotional well-being of our team.
Amazing. I loved your comment about unlocking the potential of your people. That's amazing. When the pandemic first hit, Canada Goose shut down their stores, offices, and factories, which in turn meant some of your employees were out of work. You and your leadership team created an employee assistance fund. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came to the idea and what it does?
Absolutely. Navigating through this pandemic has been a challenge for leadership and employees alike across every business in Canada and obviously around the world. And so the health and well-being of our customers, of our employees, and then the communities that we operate in has always been and will always be a top priority for us. So when COVID initially hit, like you said, we closed our factories, we closed our stores, closed our offices, but soon realized, because nobody was prepared, that many of our employees were not going to get immediate access to government programs. And so we created this employee assistance fund. And really we're targeting people who were not going to get government help around the world. So in a letter to all of our employees, our CEO, Danny Rees, announced that he was going to give up his salary, his whole salary, And that was used to fund this, this employee program. And we were able through that to provide support to our team members in need and their families. And what was even more amazing, quite frankly, was that other employees who were still working started contributing portions of their own salaries to this fund to help support their colleagues in need. And which really, stood as a testament to the strength, the empathy, and those authentic connections that we have with our team. It was really heartwarming, and it really made me extremely proud of the culture that we have that we've built here.
Wow, amazing! I love how you shared. At the center of everything is this focus on well-being for your staff as well as your clients. That's amazing. Very inspiring. In April 2020, Canada Goose announced its plans to ramp up domestic production of personal protective equipment, PPEs, in their local factories for frontline healthcare workers across Canada. Can you walk us through that internal decision-making, and how did this decision impact your staff?
We all felt such a deep gratitude toward everybody who was, and frankly, still working tirelessly on the front lines. We wanted to help those affected, and we knew that the shortage of PPE was truly life-threatening. We've always been proud to be made in Canada, and as one of the largest apparel infrastructures in the country, we found ourselves in a unique position to help. So quick, decisive action was important again. We reached out immediately to necessary levels of government to express our desire to help, and also our ability to retrofit our factories to produce medical supplies. So in tandem, without any government contracts in place, we began manufacturing PPE. We produced 14,000 scrubs and gowns, all of which we donated. And then we further made another 1.5 million units once we had the support of the Canadian government. That allowed us to bring back 900 employees, more than 300 of them right there in Winnipeg, who helped us manufacture about 100,000 units a week across the country. And so to date, we have manufactured more than 2.5 million pieces of PPE, and we have delivered all of them at cost. So for us, beyond this being really the right thing to do, this initiative was and has been such a huge source of pride, both for our teams around the world, and then not to mention just a really needed sense of purpose in such crazy, uncertain times.
Amazing. Thank you to you and your leadership team for having that community-minded approach. Amazing. You've been quoted to say that the foundational values in an organization play a critical role in sustaining authentic culture and connection. Can we dive deeper into what that looks like for businesses? How does this map back to the Human Nature platform the brand recently launched?
Like I've said, values are an organization's North Star, and they can act as a blueprint for a company's culture, directly impacting every facet of the business, from the services that it provides to the policies that help govern it. Culture isn't just events. They're definitely part of it, and the part we miss immensely. But the key really is fostering passion and fulfillment that will unlock that productivity and employee satisfaction. So optimizing hiring, bringing in people that embody your values, and finding ways to constantly reinforce them is a big part of engagement. So we all want our employees to feel like they are part of something big, something greater. And we recognize that both work satisfaction and that entrepreneurial spirit that we champion are best unlocked when we're clearly communicating where we're heading and why. Which has really always been a priority within my role at Canada Goose, that connection to purpose. And then in 2020, we launched Human Nature, which is our new purpose platform that you mentioned, which reflects our values-based and environmental initiatives. The platform, Human Nature, it's the driving force of our ultimate promise, which is to keep the planet cold and the people on it warm. And this platform, touches every part of our business and focuses on expanding our dedication to the community and to culture through both external initiatives like our Resource Center program, Project Adagi, and our Canada Goose Response program. And then also internal programs like our sustainability councils, our diversity inclusion councils, and policies. So for us, it's really a tangible commitment that not only supports a clear understanding of how we see ourselves as a company, but it also provides us with a roadmap on how, as a collective team, we can embody and live our values every day.
Wow, amazing, unbelievably inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kara. Speaking of foundational, Canada figures quite prominently in your company's name. Canada as a brand has always been strong globally. I'm curious too if how you see Canada the brand going beyond the name and influencing the very nature of your company and its workplace culture.
It's true. Canada Goose is a Canadian company at its core. We were founded in a small little warehouse in Toronto back in 1957. And while we have expanded globally, we've always really remained true to our Canada roots. So to that end, we now have 8 factories across the country, 3 of them right there in Winnipeg. Not only is Canada in our name, but it's also in our DNA. We often talk about being born in the North, and we strongly believe in honoring the original parka makers from Canada's northern communities. It's been a driver really for our steadfast commitment to Arctic stewardship through our partnership with Polar Bears International, and then those initiatives I talked about, like our resource centers and Project Adaptations. So, not only are these community-driven initiatives important, but they really also tie back to our corporate mission, our core values, and employee engagement. Because, not only are citizenship and sustainability things that our employees have told us they really value. We do engagement surveys every year, and those results keep telling us that a big source of company pride for employees is the work that we do in these areas. And, that for employees feeling that sense of pride and motivation through meaningful work is paramount.
Amazing, amazing. I love that you take ownership of your Canadian heritage, but also, as you mentioned, the Arctic stewardness. That's awesome. Lately, our members here in Winnipeg are expressing the challenges of trying to maintain a healthy and connected workplace culture while everyone is at home. Any advice for our local members, and what are some of the strategies you use at Canada Goose to uplift the culture during this time?
Yeah, for Canada Goose, the pandemic has meant even more physical distancing, even though we were already a globally dispersed team. But keeping employee morale strong during the pandemic has really come down to 3 things for us. Empathy, we talked about, that feeling of connection, and then recognition. So to ensure that our employees are being recognized and heard, and they're connecting with one another, and also with the larger business, we've done a few really specific things. So we all stay connected via our GooseNet, and our GooseNet is our company intranet. It provides employees with a one-stop shop of everything that's going on across the business. We also are facilitating virtual events, much like this, with speaker series and exclusive access to community programs, people and projects that are close to our brand. Strive to keep things as exciting and as fresh as possible. We also, really believe in staying the course. We're making sure that we're doing things that people have come to expect from us. We're doing our holiday events. We're doing onboarding sessions. We have a global conference, just to name a few. And while they're being done virtually, holding on to some of these rituals that have really made Canada Goose feel like a great place to work is important. And then finally, for that feeling of connectedness, we have increased our communication from our executive team specifically. So on top of a Ask Us Anything section, where employees get to submit questions for our execs to answer. We also share frequent video and email addresses from our CEO, and he gives us updates, not just about the business, but also lifestyle updates, what he's reading, movies he's watching, Netflix, all that stuff.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So many powerful takeaways there, Kara. Thank you so much. What are some of the common mistakes HR professionals and leaders make?
Interesting. I worry less about the mistakes that we're potentially going to be making, and I try to focus more on the opportunities that are in front of us to do the right thing. Using those values of ours and our purpose to guide us, all of this becomes pretty straightforward. We do this by asking ourselves a bunch of questions all the time. Are we doing everything we can to embody our values? Is there one that we're missing? And if there is, then we have to evaluate and we have to course correct. Are our teams spending time doing the work that they should be doing, work that ladders up to that purpose that we talked about? And if it doesn't align, question why. Everybody wants to do work that is meaningful and part of the bigger picture. And leaders need to be heavily involved in helping employees connect those dots so that they can see how their work advances an objective. Employees, when they're armed with that understanding, then also become armed with this confidence that they can take on bold, greater leadership roles, table new ideas. And then it gets into the recognition piece, feeling like it's really important to reward and recognize employees who model those behaviors that we talked about. So we do that a couple of ways. We have our Goose Rewards, which allows team members and managers to nominate and then reward employees and peers who are going above and beyond. And then we also have our annual Icon Awards, which during our global conference, our CEO recognizes 5 employees across the business who exemplify one single core value day in and day out. And so, for us, I would say it's not about the mistakes. It's more about focusing on those opportunities to do the right thing.
Amazing. I love one of those key pillars of a culture of recognition. That's amazing. The benefits of inclusion are paramount, and Canada Goose has a strong inclusion statement that states, "We embrace diversity in all its forms and definitions, and we strive to create an inclusive culture where everyone can live authentically every day and in every situation." What did you consider when creating this statement, and how have you demonstrated this commitment?
As a company, we don't just want, we actually truly believe that we need our employees to have a sense of belonging, free and safe of judgment in order for them, and then in turn for us, to all succeed. We're committed to continually reviewing all aspects of our culture that impact diversity so that we can ensure we're creating a sustainable, diverse, and inclusive workplace for the long term. So to do that, we have created an Inclusion Advisory Council. This is made up of employees from across the company who have a passion for creating inclusive spaces for everybody. It's a unified body, and through them, they have been providing thought leadership on matters of inclusion directly to our executive team. So for example, during Black History Month, the council hosted 13 events that employees could sign up for. And one of the most interesting and kind of riveting pieces of that was a BIPOC panel discussion that spoke to the representation of D&I in the film and entertainment industry, something that we've been really connected to throughout our history. And then looking forward, we are also hiring our first ever Director of Diversity and Inclusion. This new leader is going to help set the direction for us and drive our D&I strategy, integrating it across all areas of our business through these focused initiatives and programs. We believe that by prioritizing the right things inside of our organization, we're going to be able to affect change outside of our organization.
Wow, amazing. That really resonated with me personally. Throughout the pandemic, many organizations have implemented policies that will remain in place even in a normal world, such as remote work option and hybrid meetings. What are some of the practices and policies that Canada Goose has implemented that you don't see changing in the future?
Yeah, normal world. This unprecedented year has definitely created distinct pressures and took an emotional toll on many of us. So recognizing this, we decided to implement new programs and provide resources to ensure that our employees felt emotionally supported. Increasing discussions about the challenges both in society and that our employees are facing has really sparked positive new programs and benefits. So for us, one of them I mentioned is the Inclusion Advisory Council. And we've also created our Global Sustainability Councils, which have been really instrumental in helping us to fulfill the commitments that we have made publicly to being good corporate citizens and to meet our ambitious sustainability commitments. When we talk about work, like many organizations, we're going to be looking at what that future of work looks like. We have proven, as everybody has, that a hybrid model does work, and we're going to take the opportunity to shape that going forward with input from our employees. I think that that's really going to be key.
Wow, excellent. While not out of the woods yet, there will come a day when we can look at COVID in the rearview mirror. Looking ahead, what's in store for Canada Goose? What COVID adaptations do you see becoming permanent, not only at Canada Goose, but in the workplace cultures across Canada?
Yeah, that post-COVID world feels very, very far away still. But it is important to begin approaching these conversations as an organization now, even if they're hypothetical. At the beginning of the pandemic, HR really played a crucial role in managing our responses, and both at an organizational level and at an individual level. And we've really continued to play a critical role in ensuring that everybody stays engaged, productive, and most importantly, safe. So for Canada Goose, similar to other companies, this is going to include some version of continuing to work from home. We don't plan to go entirely virtually. We do understand and appreciate that over the last 14 months, we do know that remote work is possible. So do see a hybrid there. I think the other thing that's not going to change is going to be the focus on mental health and wellness. It's going to continue to be a top priority. The pandemic has really, taken a toll on all of us, and making sure that our mental health offerings are in place and annually reviewed is something that I think all employers are really going to need to look at. I know for sure that we will be. While we've always, had these health and safety or health and wellness and safety policies in place, some of the initiatives that we've recently undertaken also include a wellness council that we've added. We've expanded our wellness benefits. We now include telemedicine. And then we also have a human nature pass, which lets employees have an hour off a week during work hours to just go outside, be in nature, and get away from their screens. So really, in the end, I am extremely proud of us at Canada Goose for taking the challenges that this year has presented us with and turning them into meaningful change for our employees and the communities that we live in.
Amazing. Thank you so much for highlighting that importance around mental health as well. That was amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Karen, for sharing your thoughts and leadership, driving engagement and culture in unprecedented times. I truly believe our members will benefit from your talk today, and we are so grateful to have had you here with us today. Any final thoughts to share with our community?
I thank you so much. Again, it's so great that the Chamber is able to continue providing members with this insight and with this dialogue to really help shape what organizations are going to be looking like going forward. So I thank you for the opportunity and the work that you guys are doing. It's great.
Before we move into our breakout sessions, I want to remind you of 2 events coming up. Join us on June 17th for our annual Celebrate Winnipeg Luncheon, where we will explore the business impact of building and celebrating diversity and equity in your workplace. Register today at winnipeg-chamber.com. Our next small business forum is happening on June 10th. Diversity, equity, and inclusion have become a global conversation. Learn and discuss with other small business owners how employers, organizations, and individuals can reassess how we contribute to advancing equity in the workplace. Register today at winnipeg-chamber.com. Now we have come to the part of the program where we'll have the option to connect and hear from other members in the Winnipeg business community. This is your opportunity to participate in virtual networking roundtables, debrief what you learned, and share your thoughts with other local business and community leaders, all while connecting with a purpose and building meaningful relationships. Maybe even schedule a coffee connection in the near future. Here's how it's going to work. On the left-hand side, you'll see a tab that says Sessions under the Stage tab. In each breakout room, the individual who's been at their current organization the longest will be the conversation facilitator. If you are the facilitator, please encourage each attendee to do quick introductions. From there are 3 questions to guide each roundtable discussion. The first question, how has your organization focused on keeping employees engaged during the pandemic? The second, are there any policies or practices that you think would be beneficial to share with others in the community? And the third, what do you hope to take away from today's discussion? Okay, now it's time to network and discuss with other members in your community. Please click on the Sessions button. Thank you again to Kara for joining us and Canada Goose for partnering with us on today's luncheon. Once your breakout session is done, you do not need to go back to the stage. The meeting will be adjourned. Have fun.